Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're jumping into a real classic, David Schwartz's The Magic of Thinking Big. The whole idea behind it is, well, it's pretty simple, but it's also incredibly powerful. It says that the size of your success really just comes down to one thing, the size of your thoughts. So let's dig in and see how that works. So in the book, Schwartz kicks things off with this amazing story about a sales meeting. Picture this. On stage, you've got this guy, Harry. He looks totally normal, nothing special, but here's the kicker. Last year, he made $60,000. Now, you want to know the average for everybody else in that room? Just $12,000. I mean, that's a 5-to-1 difference. Huge. Naturally, the VP gets up and asks the question that's on everyone's mind, right? He's like, what's Harry's secret? What does he have that the rest of you don't? Is he 5 times smarter than you? Did he put in 5 times the hours? And the answer, when they actually looked at the company records, was a big, fat no. Harry wasn't any smarter. He didn't work any harder. The only difference, the only thing they could find, was that he just thought 5 times bigger. And that right there is the core idea we're going to break down today. Your thinking, it literally sets the ceiling on what you can achieve. Okay, so let's get into it. A great way to think about this is to imagine your belief system is like a thermostat for your success. You set it to a certain temperature and your life just kind of reorganizes itself to match. If you set that thermostat low, guess what? You're going to get low results. But if you crank it up high, you'll achieve so much more. Your environment, your performance, everything, it all rises to meet the level of what you believe is possible. And look, let's be clear, this isn't some fluffy, wishful thinking stuff. This is step 1. It's the most important step, because when you genuinely believe you can do something, your brain just switches on. It immediately starts trying to figure out how. That belief, it unlocks your creativity, it gives you the energy you need to actually get started. It's like the spark that turns the key and starts the whole engine. So let's build on that. This brings us to our first big pillar, actually believing you can. And again, this isn't about just, staring in the mirror and chanting affirmations you don't really believe. No, it's about a deep, fundamental shift in how you see yourself and what you think you're capable of. Just look at the difference here. The person who thinks small, they shrink. Their whole world is focused on why they can't do something. But the big thinker, well, they believe they're worth more, and so they get more. It's that simple. They're the ones who see possibilities where everyone else just sees a wall. And this shows something really important. The world tends to see us exactly how we see ourselves. All right, so you're on board. You want to think bigger. But what's stopping you? What's that thing that gets in the way? Well, Schwartz has a name for it. He calls it excuse-itis. He says it's like a disease, the failure disease. It's really just the habit of constantly making excuses for why we're stuck. And here's why it's so dangerous. At first, you kind of know it's just an excuse, right? It's just a convenient reason not to try. But the more you say it, the deeper it sinks into your subconscious. Pretty soon, it stops feeling like an excuse and starts feeling like a cold, hard fact. You just keep repeating it to yourself, and it grows into this massive belief that keeps you completely trapped. So Schwartz points out 4 super common forms of this disease. First, you've got health excuse-itis. Oh, my health isn't good enough. Then there's intelligence excuse-itis. I'm just not smart enough. There's also age excuse-itis. I'm too old for that, or I'm too young. And of course, good old luck excuse-itis, where everything is just blamed on bad luck. Do any of those sound a little familiar? I love this quote from the book because it just slices right through all of that noise. It says, the right attitude and 1 arm will beat the wrong attitude and 2 arms every time. I mean, wow. It just perfectly sums it up, doesn't it? Your attitude is way, way more powerful than your circumstances. Success isn't about the cards you're dealt. It's all about how you play the hand. Okay, so we've talked about belief, and we've talked about getting rid of those excuses. That brings us to pillar number 3, how to proactively build the confidence you need to think bigger. And the secret sauce here? It's actually surprisingly simple. That's it. It's that simple. Action cures fear. Think about it. Fear and hesitation, they just feed each other in this vicious cycle. When you're scared of something, maybe it's public speaking or asking for that raise, the longer you put it off, the bigger and scarier that fear gets in your head. But the second you take action, even one tiny little step, that fear starts to shrink. Action is literally the only cure. And Schwartz gives us a really practical way to do this. He says to treat your mind like a bank, a memory bank, and you are in charge of the deposits. So you want to consciously, deliberately deposit only positive thoughts, your successes, your wins, times you felt strong. Then, when a challenge pops up and you start to feel that fear creep in, you make a withdrawal. You pull out one of those positive memories to remind yourself what you're capable of. And you just refuse to even touch the negative stuff. Don't give it your attention. Okay, let's pull all of this together. Let's make this an actual action plan you can start using like right now. Because this isn't just a bunch of nice ideas, right? This is a practical guide for putting big thinking into practice. First up, upgrade your thinking on purpose. Remind yourself every day that you are worth a lot. Second, vaccinate yourself against excuse-itis. Figure out what your favorite go-to excuse is and just stop. Refuse to use it. Third, cure fear with action. Right now, think of one thing you've been avoiding. Now, go take one tiny step towards it today. And finally, feed your mind. Your mind becomes what you feed it, just like your body. So be intentional about feeding it positive, inspiring, and expansive stuff. All right, before we wrap this up, I've got a challenge for you. Because it's one thing to listen to this and feel motivated for a few minutes, right? But the real magic, the life-changing stuff, only happens when you actually apply it. So I want you to take a second. Right now, get real with yourself. What's that one area of your life where you know you've been thinking small? Is it your job, your relationships, maybe your finances? Just pick one area where you know that thermostat has been set way too low. Now, how can you think 10 times bigger in that one area starting today? What's the new belief you'd have to really own? What's the excuse you'd have to completely throw in the trash? And most importantly, what's one single action, no matter how small, that you could take today? Because the magic really is real, and it all starts the moment you give yourself permission to think